Hi, it's Nicole. Shaketember is coming! Every year in September, we spend the month having fun reading, watching, and talk about Shakespeare and his works. If you are watching this video, you are one of the precious 10% of my subscribers who love Shakespeare. Whether you participated in Shaketember before or not, I look forward to having you this year. I'm hosting it for the second time with Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse and Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. Thanks very much, Jason and Kelly, for inviting me again. It's a pleasure working with you. A little bit about my story and involvement with Shaketember. Shaketember played a big part on my Shakespeare journey. I joined in 2022 for the first time when I just started reading Shakespeare. I'm forever grateful for the hosts at the time introducing Coriolanus, All's Well That Ends Well, and A Midsummer Night's Dream to me. Last year was my first time hosting. We chose 3 plays for everyone to read together. So we chose Romeo and Juliet, Richard II, and Antony and Cleopatra. This year, the plan is going to be a bit different, but whatever the format, the goal is the same. We hope more people can enjoy Shakespeare's works. We love them, we think they are worth the hype, and we want you to try them and hopefully love them too. Maybe you've been reading, watching, and loving Shakespeare for years. If that's the case, I don't need to convince you. Please share your passion and enthusiasm with us. But maybe you've never tried Shakespeare before and you are nervous because you heard that he's difficult or boring. This is the perfect time to give it a go and judge for yourself. I received a message a couple of weeks ago from one of you. He was trying out his first ever Shakespeare play and he chose Julius Caesar. He asked me if he should read notes and which audio production I'd recommend. And he told me later on, when he finished, he enjoyed it very much. That was wonderful to hear. I'd love to receive messages if you have questions about Shakespeare. I only started reading, as I said, about 2 years ago, so I can completely understand the beginner questions. I had them myself. I still do. As I mentioned, we planned things a bit different this year. Instead of 3 plays, we have 6. I don't know how many of you read all 3 plays in previous years. I know Roy did. Roy from Roy Reads Anything. Hi, Roy. Leave me a comment if you read all 3 plays in 2023 and 2022 as well. Maybe we should have done a survey before we made the decision. Kelly and Jason, shall we do a survey next year before we decide how many plays to offer? But anyway, for this year, we offer you 6 choices because I don't think many people read all 3 plays. Anyway, we thought it might be more fun if there are more options for you to choose from. Let me know if I'm wrong. So, drum roll. This is the most exciting bit. Jason's choices are Titus Andronicus and The Tempest. Kelly's choices are Macbeth and Twelfth Night. My choices are King Lear and Cymbeline. Do you like the sound of any of them? We've learned the lesson from last year when we chose 3 tragedies. This year, in broad categories, we have 3 comedies and 3 tragedies, or 2 comedies and 4 tragedies, depending on your view on one specific play. In more specific categories, and in roughly chronological order, we have 1 Roman play, Titus Andronicus, 1 late Elizabethan comedy, Twelfth Night, 2 tragedies that were written almost back to back during the Jacobean era of Shakespeare's life, King Lear and Macbeth, and 2 late romances that were written after those, so after Macbeth and King Lear, which are Cymbeline and The Tempest, which is often said to be Shakespeare's last play, or not. Discuss. I'm sure Jason and Kelly will explain why they chose what they chose. For me, the reasons I picked King Lear and Cymbeline are, first of all, I'm still in the process of working my way through Shakespeare's plays. King Lear and Cymbeline are 2 that I haven't read. Secondly, among all the tragedies I haven't read, King Lear is the most famous. I need to tick that box. and Cymbeline is one of the less well-known ones. As part of culture in general, everybody knows Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet, for example, but I had never heard of Cymbeline. You've probably worked it out by now. Cymbeline is the one that's hard to define. Earlier, when I mentioned whether it's a comedy or a tragedy, it's hard to pin down, and mysterious quality really attracts me. I remember exactly when I first heard of it too. It's from Mad About Shakespeare by Jonathan Bate. The book says Cymbeline was Tennyson's favourite Shakespeare. He died with the pages of the play open on his chest. Then I read Mrs. Dalloway, and one line from Cymbeline echoes throughout the novel like a theme song. It seemed magical to me before I even started reading it. I put the timetable on the screen so you can see which play is being discussed on which week, should you want to follow along and join in the discussion. On the first Saturday, we'll talk about Titans Andronicus and Cymbeline. On the second Saturday, Twelfth Night and King Lear. On the third week, The Tempest and Cymbeline again. On the fourth week, Macbeth and King Lear again. In addition to the plays, Jason would like to discuss the film adaptations of the two plays he chose. Watching shows in theatre and film adaptations on the screen is one of the best ways to get into Shakespeare. I love comparing and contrasting the productions and adaptations. That's why I keep watching more productions of the same play. So do go and watch Jason's announcement video where he'll explain more which adaptations he'll be mentioning. Kelly hopes to talk about the non-fictional work 1606, The Year of Lear. It's about the year 1606 when Shakespeare produced King Lear, Macbeth, as well as Antony and Cleopatra. I loved the book and learned so much from it. I didn't put it in the timetable because I wasn't sure when the video will be up. Kelly might mention other books as well, so do watch her announcement video and find out. For myself, I will focus on the two plays. On week 1, I'll talk about the first half of Cymbeline, so if you haven't read it, the part 1 video won't spoil the ending. The same with King Lear, part 1. I also hope watching the part 1 videos will whet your appetite enough that you want to pick them up. I staggered the two plays, so you have a couple of weeks in between to finish them. I hope you'll work like a group challenge and we'll all do it together. I will, of course, be reading non-fictional works and watching stage or film productions of those two plays as well. I'm gutted that I missed the RSC production of Cymbeline last year. That was Greg Doran's last production as RSC's artistic director. And by doing that, he had worked on every single play from the first folio. I was lucky though to not have completely missed the chance to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the publication of the first folio. Imagine how gutted I'd be if I got into Shakespeare this year instead. I'd have to live another century to be able to celebrate its 500th anniversary. I'm not sure I can manage that, but anyway, we can celebrate every year, and the good news is there is a Cymbeline production at Shakespeare's Globe coming at the beginning of next year in the candlelit indoor theatre, which I've never been. By the way, Globe's lineup for this winter season is pretty brave. All's Well That Ends Well and Cymbeline both are pretty non-mainstream plays, I think. For my fellow hosts' choices, I aim to watch a production for each of those plays. I've never watched Titus Andronicus before, so I look forward to that. There are many productions of The Tempest, Twelfth Night and Macbeth. If I can find it, I specifically would love to watch the iconic production of Macbeth featuring young Ian McKellen and Judi Dench. So this is the plan for 2024 and we want to spoil you with choices. If you are interested, now is the time to sit down with a cup of tea and decide which one or two you'd like to read along. Then you have a whole month to change your mind and hopefully by the end of August get your hands on a copy of the plays. If you have questions about which edition to use, I made this video a while back talking about 6 editions from different publishers. What the physical books look like, paper stock, font size, the layout, the essays, their pros and cons, which is my favorite, for what reason, etc, etc. It's a bit geeky, I warn you, but I hope it helps you to decide which one to buy. I know not everyone is as obsessed with Shakespeare as I am, so a couple of things. If you don't have time to read but would like to take part, I wholeheartedly recommend you to find a show and watch it. For Jason's choices, as well as for all the rest, either live theatre or online streaming or a screen adaptation, there are a lot of amazing shows out there. I always watch the plays I read, and without fail it always makes me think deeper and fall in love with the plays more. We'd love you to participate, but this is not homework. We're supposed to be having fun, so don't worry if you can't finish or don't even manage to start. Shakespeare will wait for you, and hopefully Shaketember will come again next year. Alright, leave me comments. Please say hello if you are new. What was your involvement last Shaketember if you participated before, and which plays are you interested in reading this year? Any questions about Shakespeare leading up to Shaketember, keep them coming. I really hope you can join us. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.